If dating is the game, then marriage is winning the game.
Yeah, if you're playing in the women's league.
We are the Armchair Quarterback Show, your first choice for sports talk live from the First Coast.
Take the scenic route in the new Hyundai Santa Fe, the family SUV with available H-Track all-wheel drive to help you travel way off the beaten path. Find new adventures together in the Hyundai Santa Fe.
You're listening to CBS Sports Radio. We are all sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Expect it here. CBS Sports Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Chicago Blackhawks have won the Stanley Cup for the second time in 4 seasons. Here it is. The waiting is over. The New York Rangers are the Stanley Cup champions, and this one will last a lifetime. Here's Lemieux. His center penalty coming up. Look at Lemieux. Oh, my heavens. What a goal. What a move. Lemieux. Oh, baby. Gretzky looking. Gary Curry. McSorley to Gretzky. Scores! He did it! He did it! The greatest goal scorer in National Hockey League history is Wayne Gretzky.
Armchair Quarterbacks Radio, covering the NHL like no other.
Armchair.
It's time to jump into DraftKings. Go to DraftKings today at DraftKings.com. Golf, NASCAR, soccer, you name it. And of course, Major League Baseball, basketball, hockey, and football. Go to DraftKings.com. Listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks for DFS advice all year round.
You're riding Morning Shotgun with the Armchair Quarterbacks. We're here weekdays, your first choice for sports talk here on the First Coast.
You're very lucky that you're with somebody as resilient as Frank Reynolds.
You tried to off yourself 2 times in the last 24 hours, Frank.
Here in St. Augustine, Top Gun Supply is the friendly gun shop. Top Gun Supply stocks a wide range of firearms. They buy and sell used guns. Top Gun Supply at 525 State Road 16 in St. Augustine. The friendly gun shop, a proud sponsor of the Armchair Quarterbacks. ACC football covered like no other here on the Armchair Quarterback.
Against the blitz, touchdown Florida State. Preston scores the touchdown, and now it's Bowden's decision, and he sends Mowry onto the field right away. Danny Cannell is the holder. Mowry ties it. This game is over. A 31-31 tie. A 31-31 tie.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and flat out deceived.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
But what the hell, boy?
Make sure to listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks. Good enough for us down here in the bayou. Go Tigers and the Armchair Quarterbacks.
It's morning.
Yes, and what a lovely morning.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I already like Wisconsin. I don't come here much. Yeah. We were getting lunch this afternoon, and we were in there, and there was a guy that wasn't wearing a mask, and this woman was like, "Excuse me, sir, where's your mask?" He looks at her straight in the face and goes, "COVID's over, find a new cause," and walked out.
Armchair.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on CBS Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
Good morning, and this is your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. Major League Baseball gets rolling on a Friday at 2:20 p.m. It's the Cards at the Cubs, Oviedo versus Hendricks. At 7:10, the Atlanta Braves head to Miami to take on the Marlins. Morton is up against Alcantara. Orioles Rays, 7:10. Ryan Yarborough takes the hill. And at the same time, you got the Red Sox and Blue Jays, Garrett Richards versus Ross Stripling. Giants and Nats, Gausman versus Ross. And White Sox and Tigers has Giolito versus Skubal. The Rockies and Reds, and Padres and Mets with Blake Snell against Jacob deGrom. 7:10 first pitch as well. Other series of note begin this weekend at 8:10. Astros at the Twins. Urquidy versus Shoemaker. Angels and D-backs. Ohtani is on the mound at 9:40. And Brady Singer from the University of Florida, he takes on the Oakland Athletics and Cole Irvin. Rangers travel to the Dodgers as Mike Foltynewicz is about to get pounded in L.A. with Clayton Kershaw on the hill. A Manhattan judge on Thursday rejected an attempt to force Major League Baseball to return next month's All-Star Game to Atlanta, Georgia. U.S. District Judge Valerie Carponi ruled against a non-profit organization representing small businesses in Georgia, saying the lawsuit had failed to provide proof that its members have suffered any injuries by the decisions to move the game. The lawsuit alleged that Major League Baseball acted unconstitutionally when it moved the Atlanta Braves stadium to Denver after Georgia Republicans enacted the restrictive new voting law. Caproni said at one point during the testimony, quote, "This case is not about whether the Georgia law is a good law or a bad law. Georgia businesses are expected to lose over $100 million during the All-Star weekend, regardless of her claims." In the NBA, we've got a doubleheader tonight on ESPN at 7:30 Eastern. The 76ers are at the Hawks, Game 3 of the series. Suns and Nuggets also change venues as Phoenix travels to Denver. That game begins at 10 p.m. The college baseball super regionals start today. In Fayetteville, Arkansas, they'll be playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern on ESPNU, NC State and the Razorbacks. In Nashville, at noon Eastern today, East Carolina, number 13 at number 4 Vanderbilt. In Lubbock, the Texas Tech Raiders will be hosting the Stanford Cardinal at 3 p.m. Eastern. And in Tucson, it's Ole Miss, number 12 in the country, at number 5 Arizona. That series begins at 9 o'clock Eastern on ESPNU. On the Saturday, Sunday, Monday series, you've got Austin, Texas, South Florida, who knocked out the University of Florida and Miami. They are at number 2 Texas at 9 Eastern on ESPNU. In the Columbia Regional, the Virginia Cavaliers will be hosting Dallas Baptist, noon Eastern on ESPNU. In the Knoxville Regional, the Tennessee Volunteers, number 3 in the country, will be hosting LSU at 7 Eastern on ESPNU. And number 10 Notre Dame is at number 7 Mississippi State, 2 o'clock Eastern in the Starkville Regional. That game is on ESPN. And that's your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. Stay tuned for the Armchair Quarterbacks radio show and YouTube Live. Please like, subscribe, and share our show today. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for sports talk, live from the First Coast. Good morning. It's time to wake up, y'all. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. We're here weekdays on CBS Radio, YouTube Live, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. The Armchair Quarterback Show, your first choice for Southern sports talk. Good morning, Mr. Justin Waller.
Good morning. I don't know much, but I know one thing. Today should be the last day we hear about college softball until my co-host brings it up again next year.
Hi, I'm Mac McGinn. I don't know much, but I know one thing. Fantasy's college softball draft prep begins next Monday morning, me and Justin.
There's no doubt about that.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Got some friends coming over. Not a big thing. We're just going to watch the Nebraska game.
Oh, football. Sure.
Good guess.
I would have invited you, but I know you're not a football fan.
No, I'm not. So, great. You've got plans doing something you like. I've got plans doing something I like. So it's good.
Well, maybe we'll hang out later, after everybody's gone.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Well, this sucks.
I'm sorry, I got bored and drifted off. Where exactly in the interaction did the sucking lie?
Leonard just realized that Benny's been hiding him from her friends because he's a tiny little man who flies kites.
Oh, that certainly would suck.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man.
Hey, howdy, hi. Top of the morning to you. Welcome to the Armchair Quarterback Radio Show. I'm Mac McGee sitting alongside Justin Waller. Justin, how the hell are you, sir?
I'm bracing myself for a 6-year-old birthday party weekend. So bring it on. It's baby girl's 6th birthday yesterday. So happy belated birthday to her. Let the rest of the world know. And yeah, we're going to be, I'm going to be in a Princess Fairy world all weekend.
I'm assuming that means that there are several children coming to this party.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then
over, baby.
Yeah, and the great parents that we are decided it would be great to. Daughter loves to sing, getting into music. A nice karaoke machine, and then it dawned we probably should have gave that after the party, but it's all right. 10 young girls singing karaoke. I mean, what more could go wrong on a Friday night?
Normally, I have to be drunk to do karaoke. I think I'd have to be drunk to listen to karaoke at that point because I can imagine. The funny thing is, I don't think I would know any of the songs that they most likely will pick. I'm assuming that this is like an updated version or something that you're not gonna get. I mean, I know 6-year-old girls don't have a like the WAP playlist going on, but I guarantee you it's more hip than anything I know. I guarantee whatever they're listening to, I'm probably like, wait a minute, that was made before the second Bush administration. Yeah, I probably haven't heard that. Yeah.
It's still a lot of mom and dad's music at this point, but we're growing into movie soundtracks. So there you have the musicals and soundtracks. So there are the greatest showman on earth. If you ever need to know the words, I can, just name the track and I'll sing it to you.
That makes a lot of sense because I can remember when my sisters were that age and they would be in whatever music they would be into. It was normally something like, the Mary Poppins soundtrack at that time. But I'm thinking of like Grease and stuff like that was really popular at the time. Moving on from that a little bit, batting practice today, 12 teams to the college football playoffs is the topic at hand. As we are, so there's a committee that's supposed to be taking place, or a committee meeting that's supposed to be taking place next week, where they're going to seriously, not just bat it around, but seriously discuss the ins and outs and the possibilities of a 12-team playoff. I still say this is way too many teams. And what I don't like is it's the weird thing they said that you would get 6 automatic berths from 6 conferences, and the conferences weren't guaranteed, but basically they're essentially saying it would be the Power 5 and 1. Now, I think that's a big mistake, and I don't think that will get approved because I think Power 5 conferences are going to say, I want an automatic bid, and you can give up another one that's not a Power 5, but I want, let's say you're the Pac-12 and it's perceived that you're having a bad year. I want an automatic bid to make sure that my fan base knows that no matter what, if you win your conference, you're in the tournament. Kind of like basketball.
Well, I think this is the play to have the quote unquote Cinderella in football that you've never had that opportunity. It's just not there. And the way that they're writing this, not only is it not the at-larges or the guarantee bid, it's the 6 top ranked conference champions. So if you go back to the 2020 season, Oregon doesn't make it. Coastal Carolina and Cincinnati are both in. So the Pac-12 misses out. That's the interesting way that I think what they're discussing, how it opens up a lot of the smaller conferences to have opportunity to get in. Now, what would have happened had they gotten in? We have no idea, but it opened the door and paved a way that they both could have gotten in, and they deservingly would have gotten in over a Pac-12 Oregon team that may or may not have business being there because we didn't see any out-of-conference games last year. So I like that it brings it in, take 2020 out of the fold with the limited thing. I don't know if you'll see another year, but I like the opportunity that it could happen.
But don't you think that the Power Fives are going to stand up and say, dude, we got to have automatic bids, because we can't leave it up to some numbnuts in a hotel that gets crammed in there once a year to decide whether or not we should be in there. If we're a major conference and we're on the stage, we need to know that if nothing else, if you're going to give 12 damn teams an entry into a playoff, well, you got to give us at least one. Don't you think that's going to be something that's going to be a sticking point to be able to get this passed? Because I just think it's goofy for them to say, oh, because what if you get some kind of weird year where they get on a crusade and they want to make sure that there are all these random teams in there? It's going to kill the television that year.
Well, you'll have 12, and that's, I don't think they'll balk at it. And the reason being is that the big guys, let's say the ACC, the SEC, and you can rotate the Big 10 and Big 12 depending on who's up that particular year, but they're each going to have 3 schools in it. That's why they're not going to complain about it. Instead of, oh, we might have the opportunity for 2, they realistically have a shot to have 2, 3 in there every single season.
Well, what if, and then we're living in a different world now, what if the SEC gets cancel cultured, right? And they start saying that every school in the SEC shouldn't be in because of something that they found racist at one university back in 1804, right? This is what I'm saying. I would make damn sure that I had a guarantee that my conference was in if I was a Power 5, because that's one of the things about being a Power 5 is that you have power, right? Not to make a pun there. But I would say, look, we're not going to set up an entire football season, and our fan base does not know whether or not we're going to. What if you get an SEC year? Let's say we'll take the cancel culture out of it. What if you get an SEC year where they're extremely evenly matched, and the champion has 3 losses or 4 losses, and it's perceived by some knucklehead on the media, we'll say, just because this sounds like something he would do. Dan Orlovsky comes on and says, the SEC's down this year. The Pac-12 needs 4 teams. That would be my concern if I was any conference. Like, if we're going to go to 12, you can't tell me that as the SEC, Pac-12, Big 12, Big 10, ACC, you can't tell me we don't have one team that's good enough. And so I found that part weird, because you don't do that to people in college basketball. You don't say we're going to have 34 automatic bids. And, well, you know what? You don't know for sure if your conference tournament's going to be an automatic bid or not.
But, I mean, if you're the conference champion, you're going to be a ranked team. I mean, the ranking's going to have you there. You win it.
Maybe. What if
Northwest? I see your point, because if at 8-4 Northwestern upsets that 11-1 Ohio State in the, what was it, 2 years ago, where they were down bad, and
right,
and so yeah, I could see the possibility where that Northwestern team was not ranked high enough to surpass some of the other teams. So,
but if they win the conference tournament, I think, or conference championship.
Conference championships should be, I agree, automatic bid. Put them in, or there's no point in playing.
For 5 of them, and then if you want one at large, I'm fine with that. But I don't like this idea, because we're going to go down this road, and just remember I said it today. Somebody's going to get screwed, because there's going to be some narrative out there, whatever the hell the narrative, whether it's cancel culture or Dan Orlovsky has came up with some brand new, war stat for college football that is proving that Oregon State is a much better football team than Auburn this year, for whatever the hell he's drawn up on a chalkboard or something. I don't know why I'm picking on Orlovsky. He doesn't really do college football, but you get what I'm saying, right? There's going to be some knucklehead out there, and I'm worried about ESPN putting their little grubby hands into it.
Well, you got my interest peaked here. This whole cancel culture of the SEC. You let that roll down, and we'll have boots on the ground in Alabama because I'm going to have you footage. We're going to live stream that because
don't put Alabama in because don't you remember how racist Forrest Gump was? It's like what? It's going to be something stupid like that, and I would want it in writing. Nope. If I'm the SEC, nope. Well, but you're gonna get a team. Then write it in there, put it in there. But nope. I'm not signing that damn thing. You're gonna put it in there, or I'm not, or I'm walking, and I'm Alabama, and you need me, right? And then there's gonna be the caveat of, well, what about us? What about Notre Dame? We're not in a conference. Wah wah wah. So they're either gonna have to jump into a conference, or they're just gonna play their luck. Anyways, it's interesting because I just feel like if they don't put some kind of caveat in there for 12 teams, you're trying to tell me that my conference champion doesn't belong in there if you're going to put 12 in. See, if there's 6, then I understand the argument, right? 7, 8, maybe, but if 12,
I just don't understand why they don't write it, because I can't think of a scenario where if you have 12 going in, why wouldn't the top 5 conference champions be in? I mean, it's
exactly why
there's no reason it wouldn't happen.
Why wouldn't you just go ahead and put that in there? Because that that helps also.
If you're not going to put them in, then why the heck do you play the game? It's irrelevant.
How do I go sell my ad spaces if I'm whatever broadcasting company has we'll just pick on the Pac-12 today and say, we want you to buy commercials today for a conference championship that's taking place in December because everyone's going to be watching. And they're going, well, what about 3 years ago when nobody watched because it was very obvious that the Pac-12 champion wasn't going to go to the title. It wasn't going to get it accepted. And so you've got to have that in stone. It's follow the money. It's always about money.
Well, the money, and that's where the 12 comes in. Think about all the extra games. When these are schools out by the time we get hard into the playoffs, a lot of these kids are out for the winter break, Christmas break. They're off campus. Nobody's in. But now you're going to have extra playoff games during this time. So you're going to be filling hotels, selling, restaurants, everything that happens in these. They become tourist cities when a football game's going on. So I think you're going to see a lot more emphasis in that. And we're picking on the Pac-12, but with their new commissioner and his MGM ties, I'm kind of curious as to see where this is all going and unfolding. I'm just glad we're having the discussions. I hope it gets ironed out and we do lock in the champions, but I'm tired of the floor. I don't want to see it ride out through its contract. They need to bump it up.
Yeah, I'll give you another scenario that could be feasible. Ohio State rolls to the Big Ten like normal. Ohio State's dominant like normal. Ohio State wins the Big 12 or the Big Ten championship like normal. The rest of the Big Ten's garbage, right? But so they're not getting anyone in, right? But they know Ohio State's going to go in. Then, like 2 hours before they make the decision, something comes out about the head coach that they want to cancel culture, and they go, "We're not going to put Ohio State in there," or something comes out about the quarterback or the wide receiver, running back, whatever. That's why you got to have that crap in stone, because if not, there's too much wiggle room. And if you've got 6 automatic bids, and you're going to give 5 to a power conference, and you say, hey, the rest of you, whoever is going to get a championship invite, that's enough. I don't want to see an entire field filled up with, the Campbell Camels and South Florida Bulls and all that junk. We want the big names because you have to have names to be able to sell stuff. Not to mention to get the television. I mean, what the hell they go on some freaking, expedition where they start trying to put teams in that like nobody gives a crap about, but they come up with some war statistic or something.
Tulsa, El Paso, University of Texas, El Paso will be headlining the show.
Right.
Friday night prime time.
Well, the analytics show that UTEP is very dangerous between the 3rd and 4th minute of the 4th quarter. So that's why we're going to put them over the Auburn Tigers. Wait, what?
And due to the influx of population down there in that region, they can fill a stadium. So, yeah, let's do it.
Right, exactly.
Free tickets.
Let's get into the Arkansas Razorbacks. We're going to do them today as we are going into our football predictions for the summer. So let's go ahead and dive into that because we're going to run out of time. We only got a few minutes.
I tell you, before we get too into that 9/11, there's a huge matchup for Arkansas this year, and people that don't follow Arkansas very much, or Texas that don't live in those areas, that's an old school rivalry, and those two are locking horns on 9/11, and I'm jacked up about that game, and I don't get very excited about Longhorn Razorback football. I am for that one.
Now, I mean, but does it matter? Because Arkansas is not being looked upon as a powerhouse, and then Texas, you never know what the hell Texas is going to do.
Well, I mean, in the grand scheme of does it matter for Arkansas? Absolutely. As we're going through the schedule here, I mean, I thought they were a good 3-7 team last year. I think they went 3-7.
And I felt like they were dangerous last year, and they don't have Felipe Franks this year.
No, they've got a new quarterback coming in, and I mean, it's really going to fall on his back, but Sam Pittman is a lineman coach at heart. This will be his second season. He's got his entire starting offensive line coming back, as long as pass protection was a little weakness last year. But you look in the West, who doesn't have pass protection issues against the SEC West? So they get that tight end. I think they can find a way to get to a bowl game, but it's going to be critical that I'm struggling. They've got to have a big upset, and I think they're going to need to get that Texas win, and then they've got to pull one off at Ole Miss or in Little Rock at the end of the season against Missouri. It's the only way I think that they have a path to a bowl game. If not, I think it's probably a 4-8 season.
Which would be another disappointing season for Razorback football. You know, and it's like you said, they were 3-7 last year, but they felt like a much more dangerous team when they beat Ole Miss. They beat Tennessee. They beat Mississippi State. And, of course, it's a little difficult to grade last year because you did not play out of conference. So that was right. 10 SEC games. So it's not like a typical season. Real quick, I'm going to rattle off the games, and then we'll give the predictions because we're going to run out of time here. They start off with Rice, opening weekend at home on ESPN+. And then after that, the Texas game you mentioned, Georgia Southern the following week, A&M at Georgia, at Ole Miss, at home against Auburn, and then they get a little bit of a break with Arkansas Pine Bluff, at home against Mississippi State, at LSU, at Alabama, and home against Missouri.
I don't know who they're pissed off, but if you can find a harder road schedule, let me know about it. At Georgia, at Ole Miss, at LSU, at Alabama.
Okay, so I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say they win 2 of the 3 non-conference games that's not named Texas, right? They might even win all 3, but you just always know there's always that one team that you're like, what the? And man, I think I'm liking 4-12, which you originally said, because I just don't know how they're going to get many W's. The games that you would like them to win, they can't win them all. You know, Missouri, maybe a Mississippi State. It just seems incredibly mean to put them on the road against LSU, Alabama, Georgia, and Ole Miss all in the same season.
That's brutal. And they're both stacked back-to-back weeks too. Those travel days. It's at LSU, at Alabama, and then November, and back in October it's at Georgia, at Ole Miss. To pull it off, they're going to have to find a way to get 2 SEC victories. Now, which one of the Mississippi schools they have to beat? They've got to beat one of them. I think that, you got to chase a W there, maybe if not both of them. And you got to get Missouri at the end of the season. That's in Little Rock.
And that's not a given because that's the day after Thanksgiving. And so that's turned into a weird rivalry, right? Oh, man, I'm telling you, I'm hanging my hat on 4-8.
I think it'll be 4-8. I think they might surprise us and go 5-7, but I think it's going to be a struggle to get to that bowl eligibility.
What does that get you except getting fired?
I don't know. With this season, if they come out and you can make it look like you did last season, I mean, maybe you get a pass. That's a brutal slate, but you've got to find a way to be competitive. He's got to get the talent in the building. And
I think one of the biggest keys for him not only would be to win some football games, but also showing that he's bringing recruits in so that your fan base can go, we might suck now, but I can see a silver lining. If they have a poor recruiting class during these losses, then he could be on the hot seat. But I'm with you. He probably won't get fired unless he does something incredibly terrible, like 1-11, right? Like, you wake up Sunday morning and you say, Arkansas Pine Bluff blew out the Razorbacks. What the hell happened?
Yeah. I mean, he's rolling in a new quarterback that I think is just really going to be the key, KJ Jefferson. If he can come in and excel and show that he's brought talent there, and you're going to start pulling in wide receivers, and the skill positions start to follow around that, and then you move to the defensive side of the ball when they're like, hey, we're going to have leads. You really start getting the momentum into the recruiting when you are competitive and you have that. And if he can show that he can put that in there, then I think you will get the players to come in. They have the facilities. It's just actually getting someone in there that I guess recruits can believe in, because you've got the gauntlet of the SEC West every year. And when you're going against LSU and Alabama, it's a hard thing to stare at every time.
We're out of time, sir. What is your walk-off for the day?
We finally have our NHL playoffs set. We kick off Sunday, so 2:00. I believe that's the Islanders Tampa Bay game. I believe that series kicks off 2-3 Eastern on Sunday, and then Monday night is the Vegas Canadiens. So I'm all in on Islanders Canadiens, and we'll see what happens.
So what I'm looking at here is the NHL would be incredibly excited if it's Vegas versus the Islanders. Ooh, are they not going to be too happy if it ends up being Canadiens versus Tampa Bay? They're going to be like, oh, man.
I think they would be happiest with Canadiens versus Islanders. You got two big markets. I mean, you've got an original 6 team in there, plus you've got the Islanders in New York.
I guess, yeah, that wouldn't be terrible. But I guess what I'm looking more at is the fact that if you end up with Canadiens versus Tampa Bay, you're not going to get any U.S. market in there. Like, the diehard hockey fans will watch it. But as far as like trying to bring a fan base in, they really want New York in, and they would probably take Montreal. But I was just thinking of Vegas because of
Vegas would be horrible. I think with the Seattle draft looming, I think you rub everybody's face in it again with Vegas in the final. If they make it back, then
Vegas sits in the Los Angeles television market. So that's what I'm thinking as far as
I get it, but it's a made up team. I mean, I still don't like the way the expansion went down.
All teams are made up.
Not everybody got to, when they were made up, the Nashville Predators didn't get to cherry pick the way that the Las Vegas Knights did. That was a completely different made up expansion. So,
all right, brother, we got to run. We will see you Monday, and we'll definitely react to that because I think that should be a hell of a game.
See you guys.
We'll be back in a flash here on the Armchair Quarterbacks. Keep it locked in here on CBS Sports Radio.
New Year's resolutions. We've all made them. Mine is the same every year. Eat healthier. The eat part usually works out fine. It's the healthier part I forget about. But not anymore, now that I've found the oh-so-chocolatey Built Bar. Built Bars are low-cal, low-sugar, high-protein, high-fiber. Great for keto. Lose or maintain weight while indulging in a yummy treat. At 130 calories, you'll feel like making a resolution every day. Try all 18 amazing flavors. Get yours at BuiltBar.com.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Is that Shakespeare?
Nope, it's Geico.
Yeah, that's Shakespeare from one of his unpublished works. Oh, it be not for awakening. Nay, giveth thou the berries. For 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
No, it's from Geico, because they help save people money.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but Geico got it from Shakespeare.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Do you want to lose 18 pounds fast and improve your health? Now you can lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months with Nutrisystem. Get delicious breakfasts, lunches, dinners, even snacks and shakes delivered safely to your door. All delivered for free. It's easy to follow, and you'll see results in your first week. Just text BURN to 323232. You'll get your favorite foods made healthier and perfectly balanced to put your body in fat burning mode. Text BURN to 323232 right now and get 50% off a month of meals and shakes. That's right, 50% off a month of meals and 50% off a month of shakes with probiotics to help support your immune system. Just text BURN to 323232 right now. There's even a money-back guarantee. Millions of people have lost weight with Nutrisystem, and you can too. Lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months. Just text BURN to 323232. That's BURN to 323232.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
That I'm offering 10,000 Bitcoins in exchange for some pizza. And somebody there said, hey, I'll take you up on that offer. So I sent him the 10,000 Bitcoin. I said, okay, here it is. I'm waiting for my pizza. And, he phoned it in. He paid with his credit card, and the pizza showed up at my door. Here you can see the original pizzas, and that's my daughter's hand. She was a year old.
Wow. So you paid 10,000 Bitcoins for one pizza?
It was 2 pizzas, actually.
Oh, you got 2 pizzas out of it.
And, maybe the person spent $30, $40, something like that.
What would it be worth today?
$80 million, I don't know.
$80 million.
A lot. People laugh at that, but at the time it wasn't worth anything.
Right.
Armchair. Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
Look, you can stay here in the big leagues and play by the rules, or you can go back to the farm club in Aurora. It's your choice.
Yes, and it's the choice of a new generation.
I've been hoodwinked. I've been bamboozled. Left for dead. I've been plagued by refusals.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Armchair Quarterback Radio Show. It looks like COVID Carr has cut his hair finally.
I'm back, baby.
I'm back, baby. I love it every minute of it. I'm out there, Jerry. How the hell are you, sir?
Good, man. I'm just happy to hear Bitcoin works.
I'm going to pull up Bitcoin really quick. So I don't know how old that video is, but I'm going to pull it up real quick. I'm going to do the math.
He says, I don't know, 80 million?
I like how he said I actually got 2 pizzas. Okay, it's buy one, get one free.
Oh, well, let's start this news story then. That's a good deal.
That's a hell of a deal. Let me pull this up real quick. Bitcoin today, if you were doing it today, is worth $37.4. Now remember, at some point earlier this year, it was worth over $60,000. But we're just gonna go with today. $3.7
million
is what I'm seeing right here. Okay.
30, yeah.
It would be worth $373 million.
373. Yeah.
Not 80. 373 million. Almost $38 million.
But he did get Meat Supreme.
Exactly. That was Papa John's before. I'm thinking this is Papa John's before he got fired for being racist. So that was a true Papa John's. That wasn't the Shaquille O'Neal Papa John's pizza. So think about it. Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
Angry.
I wouldn't be as mad if I still had a boat ton of Bitcoin and when it finally took off. You know what I mean? So in other words, I'd feel pretty stupid that I threw away over $300 million, but I wouldn't feel as stupid if I still had several thousand Bitcoin and just call it a day, right?
Right.
Can you imagine? I guarantee there's stories out there with Dogecoin when it wasn't even worth a penny. And someone's like, here, you can have it if you'll just do this. Right? It's like, and then it goes skyrocketing and you sell it off. Oh my God. I saw that story it was a clip that came across my something, I don't know, TikTok or one of the things. I was like, I got to share that. I'm thinking by the way that the math that he's giving, if his math was correct when he told the story, that story was probably just pre-pandemic, because right around the time that I started paying attention to the stock market quite a bit last year, right, Bitcoin was worth around 8,000. So the math would be right. You'd be 80 million. Holy crap. I mean, me and my wife talked about it. I said, yeah, I said, literally, that's when you would get a note left in the house and I will have walked into traffic. I couldn't. I mean, I could, if I was flat broke out, I only had 10,000 Bitcoin, never bought it. I couldn't live with myself. I'd be like, oh, you're a loser.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But at least you let the note.
I mean, I'm still a loser, but I wasn't a loser that had $80 million. I'm a loser that never had $80 million.
Right.
And so, you know, I feel good about that. You know,
I'm okay with it.
Doing a little therapy, a little Tai Chi, you know, I'm becoming a better me. Getting to tell my
I'm working on me.
Yeah, I'm working on telling my truth.
Right.
Anyone that tells you this is my truth, immediately think pop on my head, loser. Right. Where's a locker? I want to cram you in one real quick. Here's my truth. I can thump you right square in the head and ain't a thing you can do about it. All right. The NBA playoffs, they're back, baby. They're back. I feel like we're actually seeing playoffs. Did you watch the game last night?
I watched a little bit of the first game, went to bed early last night, didn't watch the second game.
So I watched the entire fourth quarter. I was keeping up with the score, but I was watching baseball, to be honest with you. And then me and I've pretty much ignored her television wise. So we were catching up with the show that we've been watching. So I had the games on mute, but I was watching some baseball, mainly because I was heavily invested in Trevor Rogers in the Miami Marlins game. When I say heavily invested, I'm talking about like Bitcoin type of heavily invested. He came through for me, baby. Marlins, that's one of those sneaky, like, why did you bet on that? Because Trevor Rogers is a freaking badass, and he was playing a terrible Rockies team, and he's at home. And then the other game that I was watching at the same time was man, that Red Sox game, Red Sox versus the Astros. That game was incredible. I mean, I think it was already like 8-8 in like the sixth inning. It was insane. I mean, they were just, it was really fun. But Boston won the game 12-8, by the way. But that game had me locked in. I'd already had a crap day. The Braves bullpen lost me the game. A game that they were freaking winning. Another blown save. Florida State had lost to Oklahoma, but that didn't get me in the dumps as much. Like, I was more of appreciative of the fact that they got to the national title game.
It kind of bothered me actually, man, because I didn't know it was like a 1 o'clock start. I got home and like turned on ESPN and ready to watch the game, and then it says the Brooklyn's on next. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, it is crap. They did it because they didn't want to go up against the NBA. Because I honestly believe it's because Women's College World Series was getting really good ratings, and they didn't want to hurt their NBA ratings for.
I believe that. I was going to watch that game instead of the Brooklyn game. So.
Right. So advertising purposes, I think that's why they did it. They didn't give you a second option. Right. So, but that Brooklyn game, end of the game, fourth quarter, what a hell of a game. And did I retweet it so I can find it? I usually do that so I can find the next thing. This
I guess I missed what happened, but I just saw a still shot of PJ Tucker in Kevin Durant's face. I guess I missed that part last night.
Let me see here. Here we go. Someone tweeted out, I'm crying at the fact that the Nets having KD and Kyrie on the court at the same time, and Bruce Brown thought it was his time to shine. LMFAO. I saw that. I just couldn't stop laughing because it's just the thought process of, oh, maybe I'm open. Like, no, dude, we're good, man. We brought these guys into, no, baby, let's go. Let's rock it. So when we break, I want you to dish it off. No. I'm going to take it to the hole.
This is Bruce's time. This is Bruce time.
Okay. So anyways, I just, sometimes I see funny tweets and I have to bring them back up. But the NBA playoffs in general, I'm more energized out than LeBron is out. I don't know if the ratings will reflect that. It's going to be hard to figure it out because the ratings were so bad last year. Anything this year is going to be an improvement. But do you get the feeling that people are going to come back to the fold, or are they going to miss pulling against the villain?
I think they're going to miss pulling against the villain, but also Phoenix is fun to watch, man. I know they're a late night team,
That's
but
what
Phoenix
sucks. They start too late. That's my team. That's who I'm pulling for.
and I know you are, and I am too as well. I'm pulling for them in Utah, honestly. I know something's got to give, but Phoenix that's fun. That's a fun series. I mean, it's a blowout, but they're fun to watch. Well, they look like a very confident young team.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. See, tonight I'm going to try to stay up for the majority of that game tonight. I do the morning shows on Saturday as well, so I usually have to get up fairly early on Saturday, but it's not quite as early as I have to get up for the weekday show, so I can probably make it pretty close to the end, and then I'll just watch the end when I wake up tomorrow morning. I'm planning on making to at least the third quarter, and then if it's a blowout, then we'll see what I think Denver's got some fight in them. I don't think it'll be a blowout, but the early game, Philly, Atlanta tonight
in Atlanta, yeah,
that should be fun.
That'll be fun to watch.
I'm definitely pulling for the Hawks for obvious reasons. I mean, I've never been a Hawks fan. It's got something to do with Dominic Wilkins versus Larry Bird and all that kind of stuff. And but anyways, I think it was also because I used to get pissed off. I got to thinking about this, like, why do I really have a disdain for the Hawks normally? I think what it is, I can remember Braves games getting pushed to the side because they were going to bring you the Atlanta Hawks on TBS years ago.
I remember all Braves. I don't remember the Hawks being on TBS that much.
They would say, oh, well, this game tonight, and this isn't like in the heyday. This is more of like in the late 90s, early 2000s. You would get the alert that, hey, tonight it's the Hawks versus the Jazz, like in the middle of freaking, March when it didn't realistically, or, April. And you're like, wait a minute, what the hell's going on? Like, I'm getting this. Well, where's the Braves game? Stream it on Peachtree TV tonight. I can't get that. I don't know what the hell that is. Like, and you couldn't stream crap back then. It was either a part of your cable service or it wasn't. I was like, Peachtree TV, the hell is this nonsense? I think that's why I'm anti-Hawks normally. But
did you see that the NBA starting in mid-October? They already set that up for next season. Is that about right?
That's like the same. That's the same as it always was.
That's what I was saying.
They actually used to start it a little later than that, but I think recently it's been about mid-October. Because the one thing that I can always remember, and this is before we ever met, but I remember like late 90s sitting at the Santa Fe bar in Murfreesboro and watching the Boston Celtics. It was either their opening game or their opening home game, and it was on television, and it was Halloween.
Okay.
And I remember thinking to myself then, I was like, it's might be a little too early for the NBA to be freaking, starting their season. Why don't they start it later in the season? And then I thought to myself, it's not like anyone's ever going to listen to me about that. And
you're right.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's here we are 20-something years later, and I was right. But yeah, that's
it just seems like
it's too early.
Yeah. I mean, me and you don't watch much for Christmas anyway. But I mean, this year we watched that for Valentine's Day. But
they're so hard-headed in thinking that they're going to win, and they're just not. So if that's the case, then I would challenge hockey to be smart and punt theirs back. And punt theirs back to New Year's. New Year's Day and give me the NHL finals in July. Let the NBA. Why? I'll quit beating that horse, but I will never understand. Well, these two moronic commissioners do not get together and go, when are you going to do yours? Okay. Because we're not going to do ours then.
Right.
And that's fine whenever you want it, but I want the stage to myself. They're convinced that nobody's going to watch them in July and August. What the hell else are we watching? Regular season baseball? That's like, yeah, okay. For those of us that love baseball, we're going to do it. But when it's all said and done, when it comes to major sports, playoffs trump everything else.
And that's for me as well, especially in baseball. But playoff
and now that I've said Trump on YouTube, we're probably going to get shadow banned.
Right.
Anyways, but yeah, it's like, what the hell? I don't get it. Stupid. That's very disappointing. I was hoping to hear that they were going to wait till late November, early December. But anyways,
it's October 19th, so we got a couple of months until it starts over again.
The other stupid thing is tomorrow night, Utah versus LA. That's the only game on a Saturday. Only game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're not starting till 8:30 Eastern. Who's watching that? No one. The diehard NBA fans will, but you're going to wait till 8:30 Eastern on a Saturday. And by then you're out doing your thing. You're like, whatever, I might check the score. I mean, they do themselves no favors with the way they set this junk up. And then Sunday, 3:00 Eastern, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, right? Okay, I get that because that's normally like where they like to put. It's usually 3:30, but still. But then they're waiting 5 hours later to start the second game, Phoenix and Denver.
Yeah, you want to break that up at an hour apart so you can get the people just locked in.
Why don't you do 3:30 and 7?
Right.
Eastern. Once again, they feel like they think that everyone stays up till 3:00 in the morning to watch NBA. Oh, okay, if you say so.
And I set up the other night and watched the Phoenix game. I was like, all right, I'm ready. I'm locked in. It's my drinking night. Kids are asleep. I'm like, okay, it's a 30-point game by halfway through the third quarter. I was like, damn it.
If 8:00 Eastern was the sweet spot on Sunday night television, 60 Minutes would never have made it.
Right.
It's been on for 50 years, and they've always been 6 Eastern or 7, or depending on if there's a sporting event.
Right.
But you don't wait till 8. Stupid.
No, Sunday night, your time to wind down, not be trying to stay up all night. You're trying to
you're tired. You're most likely hammered. You're like, dude, I'm done. I've been out at the pool all day, whatever. So once again, I'll put it on, but I would have liked to have seen it start earlier because I doubt I make it to the end. I seriously doubt it.
Right.
Anyways, just stupid. It's every year with this junk. They just help me help you. What the hell's that alien's name? Not Stern. What the hell's his name? Silver. Help me help you, Alien Silver. Adam Silver. If that is your real name.
You have to go to your notes for that.
Yeah. Nanu. It's all coming out now. See, the government's telling us that there are aliens. Like we didn't know that. Like we never saw Adam Silver on television. That dude's skin's translucent. All right. So what the hell else you want to talk about?
Julio Jones. What do you think?
Yeah, Julio Jones, man. I'll tell you what. I'm just hoping he stays healthy. That's been one of his biggest issues over the last several years. But when he's healthy, dude. And I don't want to hear about, he doesn't get in the end zone. I still think that comes down to anytime you have receivers that aren't getting into the end zone, because you get it on fantasy football all the time. It has more to do with the plays being designed than it does. You're not going to tell me that the guy runs out of gas and just falls down at the 1, right?
Right.
He had 1,500 yards receiving, but he just doesn't have that extra oomph to make it those 3 extra feet. No, it's going to come down to if he doesn't score 2 touchdowns this year, it's got nothing to do with Julio Jones sucking. It's got to do with how you design the play. Now, if Derrick Henry gets to the point where he's getting stuffed at the line of scrimmage and he's not getting in the end zone, then you've got an issue. But that's just the dumbest argument to me.
I was already excited for NFL to be back. I'm sure everybody is. Well, not everybody, but I'm sure most people are. But that just made me even more pumped up to watch the Titans this year.
I saw a fantasy football argument on Twitter this morning, and I almost lost my mind. So I closed the app because I'm gonna get in an argument with this dude, and then I'm gonna say things that I don't mean, and I'm sure he has a very nice mother, and so I'm just gonna get off here. But he puts out, yeah, he I gotta come back to that. I can't say that on air. But he put his top 5 receivers for dynasties going forward, and that's also talking about this year. It's not like you're punting this year because Tyreek Hill was on the list. Okay. So it's not like this guy was saying futures. Draft these guys and they'll turn into something. He's saying these are his top 5 receivers going forward. CeeDee Lamb was number 3. What the hell is this guy talking about? CeeDee Lamb's good.
He's good. He's very good. It's going to be fun to watch this year.
He had him ranked over Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill was 5th.
Yeah.
And I looked at the guy's bio because I'm like, who's saying this? Who's fantasy football roto guy? I was like, okay, it's another freaking war WOBA geek or something that's in fantasy football that thinks this guy's going to be. What is he talking about? I mean, I get CeeDee Lamb is good, but he's not better than freaking Julio Jones or Tyreek Hill. Julio Jones wasn't on his list, by the way.
Who was one?
I'm trying to remember. I would have to have a list of
probably Adams.
Adams wasn't on there because I think he was trying to defend it because he was, I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be there this year. I'm like,
yeah,
whatever, dude. He's still Devontae Adams. The big thing that jumped out at me was that Tyreek Hill was 5th and CeeDee Lamb was 3rd. I'm gonna see if I can find it here in a second. But
it's probably Hopkins. I'm sure Hop is up there somewhere. I'm trying to.
Anyways, I was like, what is this guy talking about? Because I'm gonna pull up a cheat sheet now for just your typical thing. He had Calvin Ridley, and I know who it was. It was AJ Brown. Because I went in his bio to find if he was a Titans fan. As far as I could tell, he wasn't. It's like, what is he talking about?
AJ Brown's good, man.
He's good. He's not the best fantasy wide receiver this year because he's talking about going forward, but also keeping the guy.
Right.
You're going to turn down Tyreek Hill? Okay. Why? Is he about to go Marcel Ozuna or something? Like what do you know that we don't know? Because Tyreek Hill was number 5.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember. I know Calvin Ridley was on his team because that was his hot take. Calvin Ridley he was either 2nd or 4th. But
Tampa Bay Bucks wide receivers on there, Evans or.
But if you name all that, I'm trying to even find CeeDee Lamb on the list. CeeDee Lamb's 17th on Fantasy Pros going into this year.
He's the number 2 on that team.
Here's more important. Number 16 is Amari Cooper.
Oh wow. Okay, I figured Cooper would be in the top 10.
So it's like, what are we talking about? I guarantee you Michael Thomas is going to have a good year, and everyone's like, well, they lost Drew Brees. That actually helps him out. He throws interceptions, man, but Jameis Winston's a gunslinger, and he's going to go out there and he's going to rip it, eating W's and everything. DeAndre Hopkins wasn't on the list.
Wow.
Who else am I looking at? Stephon Diggs wasn't on his list, but you can argue that whether was last year a flash in the pan. I don't believe Devontae Adams, so I'm trying to remember who the 5th guy is. But anyways, the point being, what the hell is this guy talking about? You always gotta be careful when people call themselves fantasy football gurus and whatnot. And when we get fantasy football advice, I never claim that we know all. I know more than a hell of a lot of people because I've been playing it so long. I felt like I invented the game, but I never know all. But when you just make a stupid statement like, say, CeeDee Lamb, and he might have a breakout year this year, okay, but you're advising people that these are the top 5 dudes in the league right now? Going off of what? Amari Cooper didn't all of a sudden retire. So
I was reading yesterday that the Cowboys are going to be the best stacked fantasy football offensive stack this year.
Well, they normally are.
Right.
When Dak Prescott's healthy, that's the whole key to anyone succeeding. But when Dak Prescott's healthy, who was his guy? It wasn't CeeDee Lamb.
Right.
Red Rockets left the building, man. You got to update your stats there. Hot take Roto. His name was Roto something, and he was some contributor for some fantasy football. I was like, oh god, this is why I don't pay for your services, because of this junk. I was like, I can read it, do my own homework, and by deductive reasoning come up with a better list than you. I'll tell you what, by tomorrow's show, the fantasy baseball show, I'm gonna blurt out fantasy football in the middle of that show, and I'm gonna have my top 5 receivers. I gotta try to find that guy's tweet. I don't think I follow him, so I think it's gonna be difficult to find, but I'm gonna see if I can find it. Anyways, it's time to turn back time and get the hell out of here. Here we go. Weird. Looking at well, never mind. No one cares about that crap. On this date, 1988, listen to this one. Due to a shortage of right-handed hitters to face Orioles southpaw Jeff Ballard, Yankee skipper Billy Martin decides to use starting pitcher Rick Rhoden as his DH, not as a pinch hitter. He put a pitcher in as his DH, making him the first right-handed hurler to start at the designated hitter position. In his lone plate appearance, the right-handed hurler hits a sac fly before being lifted for a pinch hitter in the 5th. The hell was that? I mean, Billy Martin, what the hell, man? What the hell were you doing? You're putting your pitcher in. Yeah, man. Can you imagine being on that team and you're a hell of a left-handed hitter or whatever, and they go, hey, man, we're not going to put you at DH today because we're going to let the pitcher go. What? So there's like 4 or 5 guys sitting on your bench who are going, wait, what? Who's DH today?
You pay me to be here.
Right. I'm trying to think of a comp for that, but I mean, it would seriously be like today's game. We'll just take the Braves because we talk about them all the time. We got a left-handed hurler. We're in the American League building. So what we're going to do today, Freddie Freeman, is you're not going to play today. We're going to bench you because we feel like that Enoa is back from the IL and he's got a really good WAR. So the analytical department, I can see the analytical department do, but that thing didn't exist in 1988. Right. All right. Also on this date in 1982, Larry Holmes knocks out Jerry Cooney. You ever heard of Jerry Cooney?
No, but I know Holmes.
So Jerry Cooney was a white heavyweight, and everyone at the time, because this is early 80s, compared him to Rocky. Of course, that's not where the story came from. It came from the other guy that tried to sue Sylvester Stallone. But one thing I do remember about Cooney, because Cooney had knocked out some guys of big name. Larry Holmes, till the day he fully retired, and this guy fought Mike Tyson. This guy fought Muhammad Ali. Larry Holmes claims that Jerry Cooney was the hardest puncher he ever met.
Well,
yeah. Didn't punch hard enough that day, I guess. Birthdays.
It's birthday today. What does that mean?
All right, WNBA, Diana Taurasi, 39 years old. Okay, Jose Reyes. He is 38 years old today. Of course, had a career, and then he got cancel culture. I believe it was domestic violence. I forget what happened to him. Another guy who's kind of faded off. Remember Brock Holt? Brock Holt is 31 today, and I don't know if he's still in the. I want to. At the beginning of the season, he was in spring training, but I don't know if he's currently on a major league roster. Excuse me. And then there was one more. Where is it at? I think I might have lost it. But those are the birthdays today. There was here it is. By the way, there were like 6 WNBA players that popped on the stands. I am not going to talk about the WNBA. He is, is that right? 75 years old today. Is that right? Yeah. Joe Montana.
Oh, wow.
That is, I believe I have the math right. I might be off on that. So, no, no, that's right. That's right. No, that's actually incredibly wrong. 65 years old. Sorry, 65 years old. I thought that was old as hell for him, but I was like, maybe I don't remember. Okay, 65 years old. What are the Joe Montana's like, wait, what? I know I look like crap, but good God.
He's like, I got hit a lot in the head.
Happy 75th, Joe.
Keep on rocking.
What's your walk-off for the day?
Looking forward to the weekend. Gonna have some the Nelsons and the PJs. Everybody in the family is coming over tomorrow for another pool day. Gonna watch Utah tonight, or not Utah, Phoenix tonight. Hopefully it's a good game. If it's a good game, we'll be staying up later. If it's a bad game, we'll get to bed early. But just looking forward to having a good weekend, man.
It is National Corn on the Cob and National German Cake Day. German Chocolate Cake Day. So just so folks know, not very exciting, but German chocolate cake's pretty darn good. You know, German chocolate cake, I think it's overshadowed by a lot of other desserts. That's a pretty good one. Corn on the cob, whatever, dude. I haven't liked that since I was a child.
You're more of a corn off the cob.
Yeah, well, I'm not even that big of a corn fan because it has no nutrients, so there's no point of eating it. But you know, it does taste good. It's just there's no nutrients. That's why you don't save it. That's why it only goes through your system. So yeah.
The same way it went in.
Yeah, I found it very odd that yesterday was National Black Cow Day. I'm like, so now we're putting the cows into categories too. Now what the hell are we doing over here? My walk off for the day is it's kind of a dull baseball weekend. You only got a couple of really good series: Padres, Mets, and Cardinals, Cubs, which we'll definitely cover on tomorrow morning's show. But I'm gonna try to watch some more NBA, and obviously the College World Series is the main thing that I'll be watching this weekend. I am going to watch Lightning versus Islanders, but hell, it's not till Sunday, so I don't know what.
Is the College World Series is set now?
Well, this is the Super Regionals.
Okay, all right, yeah, okay.
So
that's what I was.
Starts today. There's 4 series that start today, 4 series that start tomorrow. So it'll be going on through Monday.
Yeah, that'll be on everywhere I'm at tomorrow. So yeah, and I didn't realize that was still going on, honestly.
Yeah, Tennessee's got a good team, so that should be a lot of fun. Tennessee, LSU. Florida State's not there. Gators ain't there. Hurricanes ain't there, but somehow the South Florida Bulls are. All right, we'll see you next Friday. And we gotta start getting our act together because, man, fantasy football's on the way. We didn't get shit to the DFS. I didn't drop it down. We'll definitely do it next week. All right.
I was telling Bobby that. I was telling him what the show was about. I was like, we never get to the last part of the show.
Never. And for some reason I don't have it jotted down. And anyways, I text it to you and I go to jot it down and something happens. That's why I'm always like, that's always one reason why I like y'all to know what we're going to talk about so that I don't forget. Oh, well, we'll do DFS next week.
Later, man. Have a good week. I'll talk to you soon.
Maybe.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. We're here weekdays. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for Southern sports talk, live from the First Coast.
Gonna get another cigarette.